Most hated professional basketball players and why. Paul Pierce is widely regarded as one of the best basketball players to walk the earth and is a surefire Hall of Famer. The former 10th overall pick in the 1998 NBA draft would go on to be one of the league's best scorers and win the 2008 NBA Finals with the Boston Celtics. Pierce was loved by all Boston Celtics fans, but not by opposing fans. Pierce was a great player, no doubt, but he thought he wasn't only a great player, but the best. Despite Kobe Bryant's presence, Pierce still thought he was the best player in the league without second thought. After a victory in Game 7 of the 2008 NBA Finals to win the championship, Paul was feeling himself. I don't think Kobe is the best player. I'm the best player. There's a line that separates having confidence and being conceited. I don't cross that line, but I have a lot of confidence in myself. Reading between the lines, Pierce accuses Kobe of being conceited while he is calling himself the best player in the NBA. Sadly enough, Paul was like this his whole career and led to him being one of the most hated professional basketball players of all time. If you were not a Celtics fan, you most likely hated Pierce throughout his career. Stephon Marbury. Marbury knew he was good, and so did everybody else. Marbury thought he was so good that he deserved the big money more than Kevin Garnett did. Coming out of college, Marbury had high expectations, being the 4th pick in the draft. His career started off good, but things headed south as his career went on. Marbury and Garnett had a good thing in Minnesota. They were an ideal duo that could carry the Timberwolves deep into the playoffs for 10-plus years. However, Marbury's stubborn nature and jealousy cost him and the Timberwolves the bright future they had. When Kevin Garnett received a $126 million extension, it was more than Marbury's ego could handle, according to Kevin McHale. He said the kind of money that KG makes is really bothersome for him and that the town was not big enough for both of them. Kevin McHale, the Timberwolves vice president for basketball operations, said of Marbury at the time. He unequivocally said he would not come back. After that, Marbury showed that his nickname Starbury was incredibly applicable and true. Marbury thought he was better than he really was and deserved to get paid just as much as Kevin Garnett. He ultimately let the Timberwolves fans down. His ego problems continued throughout his career and led him to being one of the most hated professional basketball players of all time. LeBron James is one of the most well-known athletes on earth. He's easily the best player in the world right now and is in the conversation to be the greatest of all time. LeBron's a family man that is very involved in his kid's life. He's also done things in the community, including donating $41 million to help students get into college. However, it's not his off-court actions that make LeBron hated by opposing fans and teams. LeBron has always been an arrogant player and most likely will continue to be. It started at the beginning of his career when he gave himself the nickname, King James. He hadn't even stepped foot on an NBA court and was already acting as if he owned the league. That was his first mistake. Then came his antics. He was once called out by Chicago Bulls center Joakim Noah for dancing on the bench during a win and calling himself King James. Although James' talent is respected throughout the league, his actions of arrogance and cockiness are not. James has even gone as far to say, "But I mean, even my family gets spoiled at times watching me do the things that I do, on and off the court." James has arguably become the most arrogant player in the NBA. His stardom has gone so far to his head that he is stating in interviews his family is spoiled by him. In addition to this, James has also made some questionable comments during his career. All the people that was rooting on me to fail, at the end of the day, they have to wake up tomorrow and have the same life that they had before they woke up today. They have the same personal problems they had today. I'm going to continue to live the way I want to live and continue to do the things that I want to do with me and my family and be happy with that, LeBron said after the Game 6 loss in the 2011 Finals against the Dallas Mavericks. Between the combination of on-court arrogance and questionable off-court comments, LeBron has earned himself a high ranking as one of the most hated professional basketball players of all time. Allen Iverson. Iverson will be remembered as one of the greatest scorers in the game of basketball. He had a great career as far as individual achievements, but fell short of winning a championship. Despite all of his success, Iverson will also be remembered as one of the most hated basketball players of all time. Almost anyone who watched him closely on the court could respect how hard he played, but it was his off-court issues that made him despised by many. He had a number of legal issues, including alleged domestic violence and urinating in a trash can. Iverson was also arrested for possession of marijuana and guns and was always getting into trouble at casinos. Moreover, his biggest incident with the law was when he was arrested for supposedly hitting a woman over the head with a chair. Iverson and his friends were at a local bowling alley in his hometown of Hampton, Virginia. They were bowling next to a large group of white men, and no one really knows what happened next. There are accounts that Allen and his friends were making fun of the other white men. Other accounts say the white men used a racial term to describe Iverson and his friends. What happened next is known, an all-out brawl. At the end, Iverson was arrested and sentenced to 15 years in prison on 3 felony counts. As bad as his actions were, it was his rant against the virtues of practice that made him the #1 public enemy with coaches of all level of play around the world. Iverson had missed practice before the 2002 NBA Finals, and during a press conference following the missed practice, he went on to rant about the unimportance of practice while using the word practice 22 times. His combination of off-court issues, the famous practice rant, and his awful role modeling led to Iverson making a name for himself on the all-time most hated list. Manu Ginobili. Ginobili is a hard worker, hits clutch shots, hustles, and is considered one of the best foreign players to play the game. He has stayed loyal to his team and contributed so much for them. So what's the problem most people have with the Argentinian? Surprise, it's the flopping. Since Bill Laimbeer introduced flopping, there have been a multitude of players that have carried out the elegant and quite annoying art. A few of these players include Vlade Divac, Anderson Varejao, and none other than Manu Ginobili. Ever since he came in the NBA, Manu has been getting on opposing players and fans' nerves while perfecting the art of flopping. His superb defense and the ability to get into opponents' heads has led him to becoming one of the best players in the NBA. If you're not a San Antonio Spurs fan, you most likely hate Manu Ginobili. Ginobili will be remembered as one of the Spurs' all-time greats when he retires by fans of any team. However, his combination of flopping and relentless ability to get on opponents' nerves has led to him becoming one of the most hated professional basketball players of all time. Kobe Bryant. Bryant is regarded as one of the best players to walk the planet and a top 5 NBA player of all time. He was a great scorer with an even better legacy. Bryant has a total of 5 NBA championships and led his team in every single one of them. Kobe is also known for his incredible loyalty to Los Angeles, where he spent all 20 years of his career. What's not to love about Kobe? Well, one thing stands out. Kobe has always been criticized for his game in regards to being a selfish ball player. Bryant has been in a number of late-game situations where he could have passed the ball to open players, but instead decided to take a difficult shot with multiple defenders draped over him. Many people blame his lack of trust as the one fatal flaw in his game. This flaw also hurt the team in the past with multiple situations, including Shaquille O'Neal getting so annoyed that he demanded a trade. Bryant may be remembered as the second-best shooting guard in the game of basketball, but he also put up a good case for the most selfish player in basketball history. His selfishness did win a lot of games for the Lakers, but it also lost a good chunk of games for his team. Bryant's selfishness resulted in tensions between teammates and a number of lost games. As a result of his one fatal flaw, Bryant has earned consideration for the most hated professional basketball player ever.